Letting go sounds simple, almost gentle. But in reality, it can be one of the most difficult things we'll ever do. We hold on to people we've lost, to the dreams we didn't fulfill, to the version of ourselves that no longer fits the life we're living. And sometimes, we hold on to pain, not because we want to suffer, but because we're afraid of who we'd be without it. In this quiet and thoughtful video, we explore the deep emotional truth behind why letting go is so hard, especially as we get older. Through the lens of Buddhist wisdom and a powerful story from the time of the Buddha, we'll walk gently through the questions so many of us carry but don't always know how to voice. Why do we cling to things that hurt us? What does it really mean to let go? And how do we begin when it feels impossible? This video isn't here to give you quick answers or force change. It's an invitation to pause, to breathe, and to see that you're not alone in your struggle. That holding on is human. And that letting go isn't about giving up, it's about making space for something softer to grow. Whether you're grieving a loved one, carrying regrets, or simply feeling the weight of what used to be, this story and reflection may offer you a moment of peace. A moment where you remember that it's okay to loosen your grip. That healing doesn't come all at once, but slowly, quietly, one breath at a time. If you or someone you love is struggling to let go, we hope this video feels like a kind companion. Gentle, understanding, and deeply rooted in compassion. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Life Lessons. Part 1: Why we hold on, even when it hurts. It's one of the most natural things we do as human beings. We hold on. We hold on to people we've loved, even after they're gone. We hold on to stories about who we were, even when they no longer fit who we've become. We hold on to pain, not because we enjoy suffering, but because that pain has somehow become part of our identity. We hold on to blame, guilt, resentment, and regret, not because we want to be bitter, but because it feels like if we let go, we're letting someone off the hook, or letting go of something that once mattered deeply. Even when we know, deep down, that holding on is hurting us, we do it anyway. Because it feels safer than the unknown. Letting go sounds simple. But for many of us, especially those of us who have lived long lives filled with love, loss, and change, letting go can feel like being asked to erase part of ourselves. When you've given your heart to someone, or when a part of your life has defined you for so long, stepping away from it, even when it no longer brings peace, can feel like abandoning yourself. That's the paradox. We hold on because we care. But sometimes, the very act of holding is what's causing the most pain. And still, we cling. Not because we're broken. Not because we're weak. But because we are human. The Buddha understood this deeply. He saw that attachment is at the root of suffering, not because we shouldn't love or care, but because we often confuse attachment with love. We think love means holding tightly. But true love, and true peace, often requires us to loosen our grip. There's something in all of us that wants to feel in control. Especially when life feels uncertain or unpredictable, holding on gives us a sense of stability, even if what we're clinging to is causing us harm. The past, however painful, is familiar. And there is comfort in what is familiar. That's why so many of us revisit old memories, replay old conversations, or carry unresolved feelings long after the moment has passed. Sometimes we hold on because we're still waiting for closure that may never come. Sometimes we hold on because we haven't yet learned how to forgive ourselves or others. And sometimes, We hold on simply because no one ever taught us how to let go. Letting go isn't taught in school. It isn't modeled in most families. In a world that praises achievement, productivity, and holding things together, the idea of softening, releasing, and surrendering can feel countercultural, even shameful. But in Buddhist practice, letting go is not a failure. It's a liberation. It's not about pretending something didn't happen. It's not about forgetting or giving up. It's about loosening your grip on a story that's no longer serving your healing. And that takes courage. Part 2, The Story, Kisa Gotami and the Mustard Seeds. There is a story from the time of the Buddha, one that has been told for over 2,500 years, not because it's dramatic or miraculous, but because it speaks to something every human heart has known, the pain of loss, and the struggle to let go. Kisa Gotami was a young woman who had known her share of sorrow, but nothing had prepared her for the day she lost her only child. Her baby boy, still so small, still warm in her arms, had stopped breathing. And in her grief, in her shock, she did what many of us would do, she refused to believe it. She walked through her village, carrying the lifeless body of her son, begging for help. "My child is sick," she said. "He just needs medicine. Please, someone help me save him." People looked away. Some pitied her. Some tried to tell her the truth gently. Others turned her away. But she kept going, clinging to the hope that someone, somewhere, could undo what had been done. Finally, someone told her, "Go to the Buddha. He will know what to do." So Kisa Gotami went. Tear-streaked, exhausted, broken, she placed her child at the Buddha's feet and begged, "Please, Master, give me the medicine to bring my son back." The Buddha looked at her with compassion. He didn't tell her she was wrong. He didn't try to correct her or argue with her pain. Instead, he said gently, "I will help you, but first, you must bring me one thing, a handful of mustard seeds." Kisa Gotami's eyes lit up with hope. Mustard seeds were common. That would be easy. But the Buddha added one condition. The seeds must come from a house where no one has ever lost a loved one. Not a parent. Not a child. Not a friend. Eagerly, Kisa Gotami went from door to door. At each home, she asked for mustard seeds, and at first, people were willing to give. But when she asked if they had ever experienced loss, the answer was always the same. Yes. My father died last year. Yes. We lost a child too. Yes. My husband passed when I was young. Every door. Every family. Every home carried its own grief. By the end of the day, Kisa Gotami had walked the whole village. She returned to the Buddha, empty-handed, but no longer pleading. She looked at him, eyes no longer frantic, voice no longer desperate. And she said, "I understand now. Grief is not mine alone. It is part of being human." The Buddha nodded, gently. And in that moment, Kisa Gotami did not bring her son back to life, but something in her heart began to breathe again. Not because her pain disappeared, but because she had been awakened to the truth of life, that everything we love is subject to change, to loss, to impermanence. And that freedom does not come from controlling life, but from understanding it. This story is not about giving up. It's not about moving on or getting over it. It's about seeing the pain you carry through the wider eyes of compassion, and realizing that what you feel, others feel too. That your heartbreak is not a failure. It's a thread in the shared fabric of being alive. Kisa Gotami's story reminds us that we are not alone in our sorrow. And that letting go is not about forgetting, but about remembering what connects us, even in loss. Part 3. Why letting go feels like losing yourself. Letting go isn't just difficult. Sometimes, it feels terrifying. Not because the object of our grief is dangerous, but because the pain we're holding on to has, in many ways, become a part of who we are. When we carry something, a memory, a story, a wound, for long enough, it begins to shape how we see the world, and how we see ourselves. It settles in quietly. We build routines around it. We speak from within it. We even protect it, because releasing it would mean stepping into the unfamiliar. Letting go, in that sense, isn't just about releasing the past. It's about releasing who we were while living in it. For someone who's lost a loved one, letting go might feel like betrayal, as if healing means you're forgetting. For someone who's carried guilt for years, letting go might feel like denial, as if softening means you're not taking responsibility. For someone who's been hurt deeply, letting go might feel like weakness. As if forgiveness means saying the pain didn't matter. But none of that is true. Letting go doesn't mean the relationship didn't matter. It doesn't mean the grief wasn't real. It doesn't mean you weren't hurt, or that you should suddenly feel fine. It means you no longer want that pain to define you. It means you no longer want to carry a story that keeps reopening the same wound. It means you're beginning to trust that who you are, right now, in this breath, is enough. But that trust is not always easy to find. Because when we let go of what once defined us, we enter a space where nothing is solid. Where our identity is no longer built around what we lost or what hurt us. And that space, as free as it may be, can feel terrifying. In Buddhism, this space is called shunyata, or emptiness. But it doesn't mean nothingness. It means openness, the space where new life can grow. And like a field that has been cleared of old crops, it can feel bare at first. But in time, it becomes fertile ground for something gentler. Something new. Something honest. So if you're afraid to let go, if it feels like you'll lose yourself in the process, that's okay. It only means that what you're releasing once mattered deeply. It only means that you've loved, and lived, and hurt, and that your heart is real. You don't have to rush. You don't have to get over it. You just have to stay present with yourself, as you are, and notice that even as the story changes, something in you remains steady. Letting go isn't an erasure. It's a transformation. It's not an ending. It's a return to the quiet truth beneath all our clinging. That we are not what we've lost. We are not what we've done. We are not even who we used to be. We are here. We are breathing. And we are still becoming. Part 4. Letting go isn't giving up, it's softening the grip. There's a common misunderstanding, especially among those of us who have carried pain for a long time. That letting go means giving up. That it means we've stopped caring. That we're walking away from something that once mattered deeply, or worse, from someone we still love. But the truth is, letting go isn't about detachment in the cold sense of the word. It's not a rejection. It's not a dismissal. And it's certainly not a sign of weakness. Letting go, as taught in Buddhist practice, is an act of great compassion. Not just for others, but for yourself. It doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending the hurt didn't happen. It means you're no longer willing to suffer unnecessarily. It means you're willing to soften the grip on what you cannot change, so that your hands, your heart, and your life are open to what still remains. Because when we hold on tightly, what we're really holding is resistance. We're bracing against reality. We're reliving what already passed, trying to rewrite what's already done. And that resistance, even if it's quiet, becomes a source of daily tension inside us. But when we soften the grip, even a little, we begin to breathe again. We begin to make space. Not because we're erasing the past, but because we're making room for peace. You see, letting go doesn't always look like a grand decision. Sometimes, it's something small. It's the way you pause before reacting to a memory. It's the moment you stop blaming yourself for what you didn't know then. It's the way you look at a photograph, and instead of crying, you place your hand over your heart and whisper, "Thank you. I'm ready to live again." Sometimes, letting go is invisible. No one sees it. No one claps. But something inside you shifts. Gently, honestly. And that is enough. In Buddhist imagery, we often speak of the hand. A clenched fist holds nothing. But an open palm can hold the present moment. And still receive more. You don't have to force yourself to let go all at once. This isn't about speed. It's about sincerity. If your grip is still tight, that's okay. Maybe today is just about noticing that you're holding on. Maybe tomorrow, you'll loosen your fingers just a little. And maybe, with time, the pain will stop being something you carry and become something you've learned from. Letting go is not a finish line. It's not a one-time act. It's a practice of choosing presence over the past, peace over resistance, and tenderness over control. You don't let go because it's easy. You let go because your heart deserves to rest. And even if you're not quite there yet, even if you're still in the middle of it, just know this: you are already on the path. And that is more than enough. Part 5: Coming Home to Yourself. There's a moment, quiet and often unnoticed, that arrives not at the beginning of letting go, and not even in the middle, but somewhere near the end, when the pain has softened, the resistance has eased, and the story you once told yourself begins to lose its grip. It's not a moment of celebration. There's no music, no applause, no sign that says, "You made it." But if you're still enough, if you listen closely, you'll feel it. A quiet shift. A breath that feels lighter. A soft awareness that you're no longer fighting. Not because you've given up, but because you've finally come home. To yourself. Coming home to yourself is not something anyone else can do for you. It doesn't happen in a single step. And you don't find it by running away, or by fixing everything on the outside. You find it in the space that opens when you stop holding so tightly. When the regret stops spinning. When the anger settles. When the voice in your head, the one that's been replaying what was lost, grows quiet enough to hear what's always been here. You. Not the version of you that had to hold it all together. Not the one defined by roles, achievements, or what others expected. Not the person you became to survive something painful. Just you. Soft. Human. still here. The truth is, when we've been through a lot, when we've lost people, places, identities we once cherished, it's easy to feel like we've lost ourselves, too. That maybe we don't recognize who we are anymore. That maybe the best parts of us were left behind with what we've had to let go. But you are not behind. You are not broken. And the parts of you that were beautiful, the love, the kindness, the care, didn't disappear. They're still here. They never left. They simply got buried under grief, under expectation, under all the ways you tried to be okay when your heart was still healing. Coming home to yourself means gently removing those layers. Not all at once, not perfectly, but honestly. It means allowing yourself to be seen, even by yourself, just as you are now. It means noticing that even though your story has changed, your worth has not. That even though the people around you may have shifted, your essence remains. It means realizing that you don't need to do more, be more, or prove anything. You are allowed to simply exist. To breathe. To be. And that is enough. In Buddhist practice, this is the heart of mindfulness. Not to become someone else. Not to escape what hurts. But to return to what is already present, this moment, this breath, this body, this life. When you come home to yourself, you begin to understand that peace was never far away. It wasn't locked in the past. It wasn't waiting in the future. It was here all along, waiting for you to notice it. And in that noticing, something inside you softens. Not because the world is perfect. Not because the pain is gone forever. But because you finally stopped abandoning yourself. You sit still. You feel the breath move in and out. You place a hand on your heart, and for once, there's no judgment, only warmth. You've come home. To the only place that was ever real. To the only person who will never leave you. To the quiet truth beneath all the noise. You. Still breathing. Still whole. Still worthy. No matter what you had to let go of to arrive here. And maybe tomorrow you'll forget again. Maybe the noise will come back. That's okay. You can return anytime. That's the beauty of home. It waits patiently. And it welcomes you each time you remember. You are enough. Just as you are. Outro, a gentle goodbye. If you've made it to this point in the video, I want to thank you, not just for watching, but for staying with yourself. For choosing to sit with these reflections. For allowing your heart to soften. Even if just a little. Letting go is not a finish line. It's not something we check off and move on from. It's a quiet, lifelong practice, a rhythm of loosening and returning, of remembering and releasing. Some days, you'll feel strong. Some days, you'll feel tired. And some days, you'll wonder if you've made any progress at all. But if you're showing up, gently, honestly, one breath at a time, you are already walking the path. And maybe that's the most important lesson of all. That you don't have to force anything. That you don't have to have it all figured out. That you are not behind. Because healing doesn't follow a calendar. It follows compassion. So if there's still something you're carrying, a memory, a loss, a part of yourself that still aches, you don't have to push it away. You can hold it gently. You can walk beside it without letting it weigh you down. And when the time is right, you'll know. You'll loosen your grip. You'll exhale just a little deeper. You'll smile, not because the pain is gone, but because you've made peace with the space it left behind. That is letting go. That is freedom. That is you, coming home. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being brave enough to feel. And thank you for allowing life lessons to walk beside you. Even just for a moment. If this story touched something inside you, I invite you to return. Not because you have to, but because it's good to have a place to come back to. When your heart needs rest, and your soul is ready to breathe again. Until next time, be gentle with your mind, kind with your body, and patient with your becoming. You're doing better than you think. And you are never alone on this path.